Welcome to True Crime Chronicles. Why is everyone suddenly going wild for this documentary? 10 years after the release? Well, sit back and relax, and let's dive deep into the story. For any parent, there's no greater fear than their child disappearing. For Beverly Barclay, that fear was tragically realized when her 13-year-old son Nicholas vanished without a trace. 3 heartbreaking years later, their reunion was so dramatic that it was turned into a feature-length documentary. This is the story of the love between a mother, her son, and the imposter. Nicholas Barclay, age 13, lived in San Antonio, Texas, until the afternoon of June 13, 1994, when he mysteriously vanished. For Nicholas's mother, Beverly, and his older sister, Carrie, every day is lonelier than the last days, months, and years. 4 years after Nicholas's disappearance, on October 7, 1997, 8,000 kilometers from Texas in Linares, Spain, police uncover a teenage kid in apparent shock and without identification documents. For a moment, he refuses to speak, but eventually he reveals his name to be Nicholas. That young fella, however, was neither Nicholas nor American. He was a Frenchman by the name of Frederic Bourdin. Frederic had spent the majority of his life lying on the streets of Paris, where he'd lived as a street kid for many years as a teenager. Having fled from the grandparents who raised him, he pretended to be an orphan seeking refugee in children's shelters and with foster families throughout Europe. His Nicholas Barclay impersonation was born of desperation. Frederic was now 23 years old and still falsely masquerading as a street child in need of assistance. But Spanish police were closing in, and he made a last-ditch effort to avoid incarceration. He found out who Nicholas Barclay was by calling random police stations in the US, looking for a missing person whose identity he could use. Nicholas Barclay's sister Carrie was on her way to Spain to be reunited with the brother she believed to be dead. But Frederic could not have imagined the chain of events he had sparked. Now he was trapped by his lie. The black-haired, brown-eyed Frederic attempted to become blonde, blue-eyed Nicholas Barclay by bleaching his hair and covering up. But there was much more to explain. Defies all logic and odds, the French kid has passed the ultimate test, persuading the entire Barclay family that he is their long-lost Nicholas, and is now beginning a new life with a new identity in the USA. Frederic may have escaped unscathed, but a new challenge arises. A television program recruited Charlie Parker to help arrange an interview with Nicholas Barclay. During that television interview, Charlie compared Frederic to a photo of Nicholas Barclay and was surprised by the striking difference in the form of their ears. Charlie became preoccupied with shedding their disguise. Frederic spent months befriending the chameleon and then preparing to expose him, and Charlie slowly captured and persuaded this incredible imposter. The FBI eventually determined his genuine identity. 3.5 months after he first stole Nicholas's identity, Frederic's criminal record as an imposter in Europe offered the conclusive proof of his terrible fraud. Frederic told the investigators that Beverly had confessed to him that her drug-addicted eldest son Jason had killed Nicholas before dying of a drug overdose. If this story wasn't already beyond the bounds of credulity, this final twist would be much more unbelievable. And he revealed why they accepted him as their long-lost son. It was one of the oddest situations ever, and there was no resolution. Frederic was imprisoned for 6 years in the United States before being deported to France. Nicholas's family was devastated, but they also lived under a continual cloud of suspicion. Perhaps most sadly, Nicholas's body has never been located, and it is unknown what happened to him. And his fate may remain a secret till the end of time. Frederic Bourdin is a free man living in France with his wife and 2 children, and his sole aspiration is to live a nice life.